Hello guys, this is Adam with another guide. This guide is for Bakasura. Bakasura is an assassin who's generally seen in the jungle, and he is probably one of the better team fighting assassins in the game. And I'm going to quickly go just over simple things, what to look out for, what you can do well, what you're not so good at. Right, first of all, let's look at his abilities. He's sort of got a mini fatalis in his passive. His passive is interchangeable partner, I believe, yep. Which, whenever he kills a unit, he gets this. He gets a buff, which if you notice down here, down on this bar here, which gives him a buff, which is increased attack speed and movement speed, which stacks up to 3 times. So if you see here, I've got 3 times, and it lasts for 10 seconds. And basically, it's like a mini fatalis, and it goes really well with this 3, which is called Bunch of Blades, which we got on later. So basically, every single time he kills a unit, he gains quite a massive attack speed and movement speed buff, and because he's an assassin, he needs to be mobile. Right? So basically, what you want to do is, if you ever want to go for an engagement with your ultimate or something, you can try and kill minions first. Your 2 counts towards it, hog counts towards it, everything. Anytime you kill a minion, he goes towards it, or a god. Right. His other ability, if we look here, is called Takedown. His first ability is Takedown, which is a small, quite a long range leap, but it's got a 15 area radius. And basically, as you can see here, 20 physical protections is taken away from them, and you do 100 damage, which can go up to 340, and a smallish amount of damage scaling here. It only lasts for 3 seconds, but with that, as well as your auto attacks and your butcher blades, you can do enormous amounts of damage. So basically, this is quite a low cooldown for an escape. And if you can see here, but what happens is basically you can it jumps around. This is your mobility tool, so you'll want to use this if you need to get closer to gap closer. You can get away with it, and I highly suggest a slight amount of cooldown reduction. I wouldn't go ninja tabby. I'd go penetration boots, because I'd go warrior tabby instead of ninja tabby. But your tune's wrath, bullwolf, any sort of anything like that can help, because the way I play him relies quite a lot on his ultimate. But then I'll go into the item builds later on. His second ability is Eat Minion, which can be used on any normal minion from my health and the Manticore. Or it can be used to kill buffs when they're at below 33% health. So whenever they're on 3rd health, they can be killed from it. So it's a very good way to counter jungle, because it heals you. It heals for quite a moderate amount. It counters towards your passive. So using this on a minion gives you an attack speed boost. And if we look here, it gives you 10 to 30 protections for 5 seconds. Now, this cooldown scales downwards, and with cooldown reduction, it does, you can get it to, I think, about 7 seconds. The heal is quite moderate. It's 70 to 270 plus a small amount of your physical power. And the main part about this is it contributes to your passive, which is Regurgitate. Well, it's your ultimate passive. Basically, whenever you use Regurgitate, you can sort to 6 minions, which will turn into mini Bakasuras. You can consume them all, and if you notice at the bottom here, if you notice here at the bottom, there's a tool on the tooltip. This is it looks exactly the same as your ultimate, and it's with a number. That's the amount of things you consumed, and it goes up to 6. With 6 on, you get 6 Bakasuras, mini Bakasuras, which can do damage to you, if you notice here. So yeah, the more you do there, the more you have, the better. I'm leveling my 2 up now just because it's a joust. But basically, you want to use this whenever you can, especially if you're jungling, because your ultimate is probably the best part of Bakasura's kit. Yeah, you want, because of his 3, attack speed is very good on him. Like, Bakasura scales more with attack speed than attack power, because he gets 70 true damage every attack, and you can get that. The more attack speed you get, the more it is, which means you can take out squishes, but you can also take out tanks pretty easily too. And it works in team fights, so because your ultimate makes it team wide, you can put out a lot of damage by having attack speed. So let's go to his 3. It's a pretty simple ability. 6 seconds, you get, if you activate it for 6 seconds, you get 55, you get up to 70 true damage on your attacks, which does count, which doesn't, true damage is basically any protections won't stop it, but any percentage damage will. So you will want to level this up first if you're in the jungle, or even if you're laning. I like to lane quite a lot as Bakasura, to be honest. It's a lot of fun, it's different when people don't expect it, and you can catch a lot of people off guard with it, and because of this, your 3 ability, you do a lot of damage. So I'd suggest, because of this ability, which I get Fatalis first, because Fatalis gives more attack speed, only a small amount, but it gives a slight amount more, and the ability to keep on hitting when you're, like, because Bakasura is quite kiteable, this means that if you actually hit someone, you can continue unless they leave. His ultimate is called Regurgitate. Basically, anytime you use your eat minion, it adds a stack to the passive of your ultimate, which sorry, if you eat a minion, you gain a stack, and it's capped at 6, and whenever you use your ultimate, it regurgitates their minions into mini Bakasuras, which do, I believe it scales. It scales with Bakasura's attack power, and if you notice here, you get CC immunity for 1.5 seconds, so it can be used defensively, even if it's like not the best, and you slow people inside. One thing to notice also is that it's a cripple, which means if you aim this right, you can stop Neath or whoever, like here. If you notice now, 1 second, just let me get rid of these. If I aimed it over there, he wouldn't be slowed, but if I aimed it on top of him, like right there, he's slowed and crippled, and by the time he's got out, he's dead. This may be a slight, like, not all Bakasuras will get this thread because it's a joust, but basically, I'll put up a video tomorrow about jungling, how to do it, counter jungling and order, etc. like that, so be sure to watch out for that one. This is just a simple like guide on how to actually play the character, what he does, the slight intricacies that he has, because while a lot of him go into the jungle, a lot of his abilities he's got quite a lot of passive abilities. So if you recap now, you've got your 1, which is for gap closing, your 3, which is for like extreme amount of damage, like it's only a 6-second duration, so you know it's not a long duration, but it's enough for you to actually be able to assassinate hunters and mages. Your ultimate also gives you a conal attack, which I can't really like explain now because it's like on cooldown, but when it comes up next I'll show you that. Basically all of your ability, it's like a mini golden bow really. Well, what it does is, all of your attacks hit in an area around it, and they all apply on hit effects fully. And one thing I want to try out, which all these guides that I try and do also teach me a little bit, because it makes me think about things that could work and could not work, you know, stuff like that. So it's all an experience really. See, like, I'll show you now. Right, all these minions here, because I've got a conal attack. If you notice here, it hits everything that it hits everything that's inside the cone. So basically, this is what makes him so good in AoE. Like, if you aim this right, you can take out a mage and potentially even the hunter as well, with no effort at all. Because just due to the fact that your ultimate is such a huge steroid in terms of attack range. Right, now things that you need to worry about is the one thing the main thing that I want to address here is make sure you've got your ultimate your passive stacks on your ultimate. The mini Bakasuras can actually block in, like they can block in your opponent for a short amount of time, which means more attacks, more damage. If you also, one thing that you also need to look at is if you jump in your ultimate, that is one thing you do not want to do. If you need to try and get it, so time it so that you can avoid having to jump in your ultimate, so if you're next to them as much as possible. If you have to ult and then jump, the jump takes about 2 seconds, and 2 seconds of the steroid is a lot of the steroid gone. So you need to really, one thing I need to really get out there is you need to be able to know when to go in and use your ultimate properly. Like, now would be an awful time to use your ultimate to clear wave. You're an assassin, so your attacks can clear the wave pretty easily. You need to be, here, you need to be careful with what you use your ultimate for. Like now, because I know I can kill, it's gone like that, simple. I don't even need to use my ultimate anymore for this. This is just to show you positions. If the enemy's got a batter flip, even though you can actually stop the batter flip with your cripple, it's much better to try and jump onto her. If you can try and avoid it, not jump onto her and start hitting her first. Then when she jumps, you jump, and then ult if you need to. Because using your jump halfway through, if you look at this, it takes a good second or two, which is quite a lot of your ultimate gone. And your ultimate is, like I say, the best skill you have. It makes it so in team fights you can deal damage to a lot more people. And it's just, yeah. So basically, that's most of it gone. The things you need to remember about his normal abilities without his ultimate are, whenever you can, eat minions. Keep that up, because you need, the more minions you have, the better. It also gives you protections. Do not forget about these. If you're in a really bad situation and you're going near a jungle camp, be sure to eat any that you can, because it'll heal you and give you the protections to potentially survive something you wouldn't usually survive. You have a physical protection debuff on your 1. It's 20 physical protection. It's not that much, but it's not that bad. If you master this character in terms of jumping, positioning right and stuff, you can obliterate people in seconds late game, which is one of Bakasura's main focuses. And his Butcher Blades, aren't actually needed to do much, a lot of the damage. So try and save them for the best situation, like here. Would be here, that was okay, but I don't really need the Butcher Blades. Later game, if you get crit, you will, because of your escape, you jump onto them, and then you're regurgitated to cripple them if they actually do try and get away. Any squishy character shouldn't actually survive your jump into attacks. So Butcher Blades, if you look at the cooldown it's on, it's 14 seconds, so it's got about half uptime. It's up half the time it's up once every 2 cooldowns. Wait, that makes no sense. Basically, it's got a cooldown that's twice as long, so it's basically you just need to make sure you get these when you need to. You don't waste it. Right, so I've gone to laning as backup. Basically, you'll want a Hand of the Gods if you're in solo lane. Hand of the Gods is great. Hand of the Gods +2 is a good wave clear. You want to level your 3 up because you can duel almost anyone with it. You want to avoid using your jump and make sure you ward the entrances to your lane. Simple thing. If it's against some ranged, I'd suggest, if it's in Arena Conquest League, I would highly suggest you don't pick Baka. Against ranged people, or people who have a really good wave clear, it's not the best. But if you know what you're doing, you can actually like obliterate people as him in solo lane. So I'm just going to try Golden Bow out here, because if Golden Bow and his ultimate worked well together, then that's pretty much the best thing you can do in teamfights. So I'll just check it out here now. If I ult here, so the back is not coming. I think it does. Wow. So yeah, I'm going to do more testing on this one, and in the next jungle video, I'll let you know, like, I'll show you the damage and stuff, because it's something that I need to check. But basically, if you notice here, like, laning is Baka, you just want to, my playstyle personally is quite aggressive. I'm really aggressive because I know the character's strengths and weaknesses. Against people like Chark, this god is amazing. Early on you've got better wave clear, because you'll have Hand of the God, you'll have your 2, which will heal you. Make sure you get the mana buff, because you are quite mana intensive early on, because you need to continuously feed yourself to keep healing up, to keep getting the stacks. So that's really good. What you want to do is, I usually go straight for a Fatalis. You can change, the boots can change to whatever you want. You can have Ninja Tabby or Warrior Tabby, depending on your playstyle. Mine is, sometimes I go for Warrior Tabby, depending on what game mode it's in. In Conquest I'll happily go for Ninja Tabby, just due to the fact that it's a jump. You've got your jump, you need cooldown, like uptime on your jump. Like now it's 10 seconds instead of 12. Your ultimate's like a really good. You need everything you can whenever you can get it, really. So Ninja Tab is good, but if you want to get, if they're stacking a lot of armor, then by all means go for the Warrior Tabby. Warrior Tabby is a great addition. In fact, Warrior Tabby, if you can't get that, then you can get an Executioner instead of. I'd always suggest an Executioner. Executioner is a really good item, so this should be a similar build to what you need. Now, because of his pure like straight up damage, Deathbringer, in my opinion, this is a build I'd go for. Now would be AC or Bloodforge, because Bloodforge applies on every single time he bites someone with his ultimate, you know, munches on them. So you've got Ninja Tabby or Warrior Tabby, that's personal preference, but to me Ninja Tabby is the best because you need to get your abilities up more often. Haste and Fatalis straight away because of the attack speed, and the ability to actually stop people from like running away when you're attacking them, because there's nothing worse than you using your ultimate there than walking out of the range of your ultimate and you're like that trying to catch them and you just can't catch them. It's just something that Bakasura, if you don't get Fatalis, will always like feel. Kinsai is obvious. It's really strong on some people who've got high burst, and Bakasura's burst is pretty high with his 3 and the fact that it stacks with that. Very good item. Now Ace is where, I think it's Ace, I don't know how you pronounce that, it looks it, is where it comes to personal preference. My playstyle is very aggressive, so I'll end up quite low on health, but because it affects my ultimate, when I'm on low health I can ult whenever I'm in teamfight and recover a lot of health whenever because it applies on every single like target hit, the lifesteal. So that's just personal preference for me. Bloodforge is very good. If you need to, Brawler's Beat Stick, or even Solitaire if you need to be a little bit tankier, because that does help your whole team. It gives you quite a lot of physical lifesteal. I think it's 25% because the aura is applied to you. Rage I get because a lot of the time I don't get Deathbringer, and it gives more attack speed. If you look here, I've got 2.5 attack speed. If I sell that there, I've got 2.41, so Rage or Malice, depends on which one you want to buy. And because of the high attack speed, if you want Executioner you can get it to max out your attack speed. If you get speed buff, then that's good too. Again, if you don't want to buy Warrior Tabby, then I'd be sure to buy a Jotun's Wrath or a Void Blade. Depends on if they don't have much physical, then Jotun's Wrath because it helps a slight amount with your mana. It was quite a lot of physical penetration, but Focus Voidblade, never get this one. That one, like, Voidblade normally is fine, but on an assassin you generally are quite greedy with what you need, and that's not a pun for the Bakasura, that's just you, if you try and like spread it all out, then you need to be able to get in, do all your damage, kill the hunter, kill your target, and then leave. Maybe go for the tank if you're still alive with like high enough health, but as long as you go in, you assassinate your targets, you are fine. And you will only be able to do that if you have enough penetration. So this build here, to me, is fine. Like, this is my playstyle. My playstyles, I usually end up quite low because I die. Well, I don't die quite a lot. I go very aggressively. Oh, stop it, Ra. So yeah, for the actives, you should always pick purification beads, unless it's very rare, but sometimes they don't have enough hard CC to care about. And Fist of the Gods, because you're in solo lane, so you'll start with Hand of the Gods, got a Fist of the Gods, an extra stun. Bakasura doesn't have any CC, so it's very, very useful to actually have that. So if you look here now, like, you can use it for wave clear, you can use it for, like, if you notice here, it goes straight away. He's built, that's someone who's built quite, like, if you notice here, he's got quite a lot of health or something, just you demolish him straight away. Hunters are generally even quicker. So yeah, that's basically it. You need to be careful with everything that you're trying to do. Like, don't ever think that you're a tank. You're not. If you build tank Bakasura, as long as you've got enough attack speed, then that might work. But you need to remember that you're not on you're a very squishy god. So I'd exercise a lot of caution when initiating fights. You want to let someone else initiate. If you let someone else initiate for you, then you've got a much easier chance of doing things. Oh wow, that's damage. So yeah, you want to let your tanks go in first. You'll generally be at the front line though. Wait for your tanks to go in to absorb some of the damage and the CC, and then you go in. Now this is a new part that I'm going to do. Basically, you want to be careful of Neith, and you want to be really careful of Anher. Mostly Neith, because she can backflip, she's got a lot of things to keep you off of her. So by you mean, like, if she's smart, she can heal off of your minions, as well as she can easily, ult your minions, stop them from being as effective, slowing your attack speed down, which is something that's very bad for like the character, because like we said, we need really high attack speed. And we Anher, because he can peel for himself pretty well if he survives your actual initial burst, which is highly possible. Like, Bakasura has a lot of sustained damage, but there are people that can, if they're peeled well enough, can escape. And if you can't kill him in that initial burst, chances are you won't, you'll have a harder time to kill him. He's got his leap, he's got his stun. If he knows what he's doing, he can easily, avoid, he can easily get away from you, he can stop you from doing whatever you need to do. He's just a general, he's very bad to fight against. So yeah, one more thing, Bakasura is probably one of the best people to do this, and that's backdooring. When I mean that, I mean, let's say now I've got his Phoenix down. In Joust especially, if you're in Joust, if you get 6 stacks of your passive, of your ultimate, which is, to get 6 mini backers up, you can backdoor, I think you are possibly the best backdoorer. If you can get to their base, because a lot of the time people will just think, try and go in aggressive to try and win first. If you get into their base, you can take down the Minotaur or the Titan with ease. So if you can actually do that, that's a win for your team easily. But you've got to be careful and make sure you tell your team what you're doing. Communication on this god is very important, because, to be honest, if you don't communicate what you're doing, people will think that you're in team fights when you're not. And if you're not in team fights when you're not, like, but if you don't tell them that you're not going to be in team fights, people will generally just presume that you like. People don't look at the map; they won't know what you're doing. So unless you can take that down, that could equal a loss for you too. So just you've got to be careful with that. So thank you for watching the guide. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything I can do to improve them, let me know. I'm going to be improving the formatting over the next week or so with video introduction, music to go with it and stuff. So yeah, be sure to like and subscribe if you liked it, and hopefully I'll see you again next time for... not sure which one I'm doing next. Like, I'm not sure which god I'm going to do next. Leave a comment below if you want to request one. It's possibly going to be Naja from Hello Smite, which I'll link to. So yeah, thank you for watching and have a nice day.